This home stretch of the 2020 campaign, chances are your cell phone has been hit by an unprecedented wave of political text messages, especially if you live in a battleground state. In the COVID era, when door knocking is unwelcome and phone calls can be annoying, text messages have become the trusted tool of politicians trying to get your attention. So our Devin Dwyer takes a look at what's behind the texting tidal wave, and if you choose, what you can do to stop them.
The political text messages are hitting like a tidal wave.
How often do you get text messages from a political campaign?
Every day.
A record number inundating voter cell phones in the final hours of the 2020 campaign.
We've definitely seen this year that more people, more campaigns are using it, and that is having an impact. I think people are getting a little bit frustrated.
The billions of messages from Democrats and Republicans eclipsing door knocks as the go-to voter outreach because of COVID-19.
So we had a texting party at my house, 6 women around the table. We had some wine, some cheese and crackers, and I gave them a little script to get them to encourage their friends and family to get out and vote.
The Get Out the Vote push is being propelled by special political texting apps.
How do you get the phone numbers?
So the voter files, so when you register to vote, that is public record.
The phone numbers are automatically teed up for armies of volunteers who send pre-scripted messages with the tap of a thumb, dozens per minute.
You have maybe 100 text messages assigned to you, and you just click send, and it sends off the message, and you send it to the next person, and you click send until you've sent it to everyone.
So every time you push that green button, a new name loads, and that's a new person, a new stranger.
A lot of people might think it's a robot. It's totally not. It's a human. It's a volunteer. You could be sitting, watching Netflix, just hanging out.
Most robocalls and robotexts are illegal without your consent, but the FCC says campaign outreach initiated by a real person is exempt from the do not call list.
Text messaging, even if you don't answer it, you still look at it, you still read it. Right?
Professor Melissa Michelson says scientific research shows text messages have a direct positive impact on getting people to vote.
Per vote, it's very powerful. But, if you want big effects, you still have to do those other tactics.
Those other tactics involve real human contact like canvassing, something Democrats have de-emphasized in the pandemic, while Republicans have been out in force.
This weekend, they'll have over 100,000 doors knocked, well over 500,000 calls made. People are appreciative that, at this time of isolation that we actually want to hear their voice at the door.
But text messaging is still dominating on both sides.
And we're asking them, not only will you vote, but will you help your friends and your family to vote? Are there 3 people who you can support to vote?
Do you ever get any nasty grams back?
Sometimes, but overwhelmingly it's positive.
The onslaught of texts expected to the very end of the campaign.
I voted, leave me alone.
One way to get off the lists, text stop in reply, or you could just wait for the silence that will come after November 3rd. For ABC News Live, I'm Devin Dwyer in Washington.
Our thanks to Devin for that report. It's easy with so much uncertainty here at home to lose sight of the fact that political turbulence is not limited to the United States. Unprecedented times right now in Thailand. Tens of thousands have been taking to the streets demanding the resignation of the retired general who led a military coup in that nation and major changes to the monarchy. That second point is a big one because it has been forbidden in Thai culture to speak ill of the king. Yet, like with so much, things have changed in 2020. James Longman has more.
They call Thailand the land of smiles, but behind the facade, an ugly crackdown is playing out. Celebrated in lights, the king is almost a god in his own country, but he's lived in Germany for years, and so its embassy in Thailand has become a focus for protesters, angry at a largely absent monarch and an out-of-touch government. It's an astonishing and unprecedented call for reform, and it's been going on for months. Tens of thousands of protesters in Thailand have mobilised, led by the young, at times clashing with police. They're demanding the resignation of their prime minister, a former army chief who seized power in a 2014 coup. But perhaps more remarkable, they're calling to curb the king's authority.
An
The monarchy is the mastermind behind the politics. No matter how many governments we go through, if the monarchy is still pulling strings from behind it, the country will not develop any further.
Thailand has one of the strictest royal defamation laws in the world. Speaking negatively about the monarchy can carry prison sentences of up to 15 years, which means these young people are playing with fire. Protesters have incorporated the three-finger salute from the Hunger Games film franchise, a show of resistance against the authoritarian state. The government cracking down, banning public gatherings and arresting 3 high-profile protesters, one of whom appeared to be unconscious as he was being unloaded from a police van. But the threat of arrest hasn't deterred this new generation hungry for change. Many were first-time voters in the parliamentary elections last year, and they were upset by the results, saying it was a government fix to stay in power.
Military government just cheat the election result.
Alice is a 22-year-old content writer, and she's been rallying students. She says she's got friends who have been detained.
So how does it make you feel to know that this is what's happening in your country, that there are arrests of young people like this?
It makes me feel angry because, you know, the authorities, the government, they take our future, they take our freedom.
And she too hasn't been immune from the response. She was summoned for violating the ban on demonstrations.
You have to report to the police. How are you feeling about that?
Nervous, a little bit. Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I don't think. Well, but I think my friends and I are gonna be safe, but still a little bit nervous. Yeah.
We were with her as she turned herself in. It was her second run-in with the law.
In this country, every time I exercise my basic right, I get summoned. It unnecessarily complicates my life. And the one who's pressing charges against me is the state. The police are the state's representative.
The state attorney is filing a case against her, and she'll report to the police again later this month.
I'm not afraid. I'll keep fighting.
In Bangkok and other cities across Thailand, the young have been vocal and unafraid. It's what makes these protests different from those of the past.
What very surprising me is that a younger generation appeared a lot. They're unhappy with the current situation, that they believe that they will face a worse future and economic opportunity when they grow up.
In an effort to save face, the Thai king appeared in front of pro-royalist supporters yesterday, and he had this message.
Is there any room for compromise, sir? Thank you. Thailand is a land of compromise.
What was once whispered about the king and the government is now shouted in the streets. But his military regime has to tread carefully. Thailand's reputation as a welcoming and friendly nation is in the balance. These young Thais hope that if they make enough noise, the world will hear and force the change they need. James Longman for ABC News Live.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.